Please wait.
Yeah. Or we're streaming.
Are we?
We are. And if Loria, you're watching, we know that the timer's not up.
Yes, on purpose. So we are live.
We're officially live. There we are.
Oh, there we are. Look at, hi, good morning. We are on purpose 4 minutes early because we're using our new studio for the very first time in the absence of having the world famous Loria Petrucci.
Loria Petrucci.
And I know her.
I do know.
She was in our house.
I miss her so much. There she is. Loria, just so you know, we know that the timer, the counter is not up yet. We decided just to go live and then do all of that afterwards.
We're going to do 3 or 4 minutes of just saying hi, everybody, welcoming to our new studio. We're going to kind of get acclimatized ourselves, and then all the magic starts.
Yay! And I've got it all at my little bit of fingertips.
Yes, Loria Petrucci brought the magic. Carrie Campbell now is going to do the magic. And if you're like me, you think that was hot.
I miss Loria.
I miss Loria too.
And hi, Tiffany Maxim.
Yes.
And Hema and Papa Draps and Karen Roberts and Chris Goldlewski. Welcome.
It's Goldowski, actually.
Welcome to...
You know what? I can't like that Loria's here, probably because she's in the back end of her camera somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's... No, there you
go.
You just have to push the button twice.
Nothing to see here. My bad.
Nothing to see.
Good morning, Lee Patterson. Good morning, Lynette Macias. I just want to say this really fast. Today's show, how to use cues and triggers to reprogram your unconscious mind. This is all about increasing focus, concentration, and productivity. Big show.
It is a big show.
Great topic. We're going to dive deep into the whole cue and trigger aspect. What are they? We're going to give you examples of how we use them as both coaches and people. Because we're both people and coaches.
We are people and coaches.
And they're going to teach you to do the exact same. So anyways, this is fun. This is fun for me. And we have a couple minutes left before the pre-show actually starts.
We have 2 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to say a couple of things. Number one, I realized we went live before I did my final hair fix. So I'm going to apologize to everybody because I'm going to play with my hair all show, number one. Number two, it is really bizarre to be sitting on this side of Brian.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
This is fucked up Monday because we are at a different table, a different viewpoint. We're on opposite sides. We've got monitors everywhere. Main camera's there, monitors here, monitors there. In a couple weeks, we're gonna have more cameras too.
We are, yeah.
I'm gonna be dizzy.
Right. Good morning, Carl McPhee from Edmonton, and
good morning, Carl.
Welcome to the show. Loria wants you to give a big booming voice. She's testing our audio from Oregon.
Hi, Loria. How are you? Was that good?
I think so. Loria, just so you know, I tested the audio prior to going live, and we only hit a little bit of red when his voice peaked into the Where's My
voice brings the red?
Your voice brings the red.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? Yeah, honestly, who knew?
You know.
How's everybody doing today? Everybody, we had the first International Crew Day on the weekend. I miss everybody.
I do miss everybody.
I miss Penny.
Right?
I miss Clyde. I miss Tiffany. I miss the Montefinesses who are driving home right now.
They're still on their way home, yeah.
Right?
They almost got flooded out by the Ottawa River.
The Ottawa River?
Yeah, the Ottawa River. That was the Ottawa River I showed you the other day. It was like almost flooding out.
Carl McPhee, I dig your attitude and energy already.
Right?
I like this
Good morning, Brianna Hilton.
Yes, good morning, Stacy. Fuck your hair, Carrie. Shake it, baby.
She said flick your hair.
Fuck, my bad.
I don't know how to. I'm not really sure. Oh, you see, I shouldn't have touched it.
Oh, you have visuals everywhere at this point. So, I'm really excited about today because the topic is fun for me, but this new setup is fun for me. Do you have a headache, Carrie? Lynette wants to know.
Do I have a headache, Carrie? No. Why, Lynette?
What's up, Brian Sakowitz? Lisa Arsenault misses us as well. Andrea Torrens is here.
Good morning, Andrea.
Little tank, that one. I love her.
Yes, she is.
Yes. No, Jessica, we are not affected by the floods, and I hate to say it because everyone who's watching internationally may not know. Montreal, the city of Montreal, has actually declared a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Because it's been raining so much here that, and we are like New York. We're surrounded by water. That there's been flooding everywhere. But the reason I feel badly saying that is that our house literally is on top of a mountain. Yeah. So like the rain couldn't get us even if it wanted to.
I know.
Right? So I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing because that's sad. The people in the West Island and through Montreal, places we used to live, are being affected. I mean, it's dramatic. Yep. There are people are being evacuated. Yep. Schools are closed because they have to be used as Red Cross shelters. It's not a laughing matter. I just feel very grateful that I'm on top of a mountain.
I agree.
Right? And I want to add one more thing. Not only has it rained in an unprecedented way over the last week and into this week. But it is now spring, which means all the snow from the mountain that we live on is melting, and the spring runoff is also contributing.
Everybody else is getting it.
So Jessica, thank you for your concern, but we are just fine. Good morning, Cass. Sandy is here. Carl digs us.
I just want to point out.
Are we stressed?
I think Lee. I think Lee was referencing. Are we stressed about the flooding?
No.
Jessica, I don't know about you if you have it snowing, but it snowed here this morning. So the mountain, which is just out to my right here, is covered in snow right now.
It's really crazy because we live on top. Crazy. We live on top of one of the higher mountain peaks in the Mount Tremblant area.
Yeah.
But the highest peak is right outside our window, which is Mount Tremblant itself. And last week, all we saw from where I'm looking right now was green and no snow.
Right.
Now I'm looking at it. There is snow all over the mountain. The ski runs look like they're open again.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
I can see the ski runs distinctly as completely snowed.
It's crazy.
God, weather in Montreal. Weather in the mountains.
We're going to be in Arizona in a couple weeks, and that's going to be like a massive shock to our body. Our body's going to be like, I don't know what to do with this. So, guys, let me ask you, by the way.
Oh, my God, the pre-show has started.
The pre-show counter. I got this. I got this. I put it up as soon as it was 10 to 10.
Love it.
And it's giving us a countdown. So, Sandy, you can see you do not need to tell us anymore.
Yes.
What we have left.
Although my European girlfriend, she can tell us whatever she wants.
Of course you can.
She's good by us.
Of course you can. But we're looking forward to rolling this out and seeing how it feels to you guys and so on and so forth.
You guys are going to love it.
Yeah, the detail with this camera.
Yes.
Is the detail better?
You can see my awesome skin probably, and your awesome skin as well. Baba Drap says crazy. I agree. The weather has been crazy. I also want to add today's show, how to use cues and triggers to reprogram your unconscious. This is all about increasing focus, concentration, and productivity. So if you know we're going to earn it, and you know we are because we always do, let's give this a share right now. Get it into the news feeds because millions of people around the world they are desperate to understand how to increase focus and concentration so they can be more productive.
Yep.
Right? Don't we all just sit there mindlessly on Facebook once in a while, or tuning into Netflix, or using avoidance behaviors to waste time because we can't seem to kick our asses into gear regarding focus and concentration? This is a big show, so I'm going to ask you preemptively, please share it out right now.
Share it
out,
right?
Preemptively is a good word.
I also want to add that...
can see your beautiful lips, BG.
That's what I was just going to say.
Thanks, Doc Testa.
He can see your lips, and Lisa said she could see the colors in your beard. That's awesome.
Yeah, the colors are gray, red, and dark brown or black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
John Delancey, welcome back, by the way. It's funny.
Yes.
He's like, so is it bad that I'm trying to do 10 things while you teach me how to increase my focus?
Well, as long as you give us the majority of your attention, I give you a pass.
Well,
I feel like this is new. Like, I'm not into my swing yet.
I'm not either. I'm not entirely convinced that I'm going to remain on this side.
Yeah, we may have to switch it up.
Yeah.
But I also want to add, I'm doing great. I'm not looking over there.
You're doing so good.
I'm not looking at that monitor because that's the real-time monitor where I can see myself, and I'm watching myself right now do this with my pen, and it's really fucking distracting. So I'm keeping my eyes off of that, onto the mountain, you, and my wife, because she's really fucking hot. I'm just saying.
Lynette, you were missed on Saturday, just so not to make you feel bad, but we had a glass of wine for you.
Yes.
Can I add, by the way...
We love you. Sassy Pan says, I love you guys.
I love you, Christine.
I love Sassy
Christine was in Montreal, and she came down with some kind of virus, and she actually had to go home a day early.
Oh, no, really?
She had a fever of like 102. Yes. I hope you're feeling better, Christine.
Shout out to Lori Petrucci, because the camera quality is getting the bulk of the... look at that. You guys look so clear. Chris Goldowski wins comment of the day so far. Great camera definition. The coconut oil sheen on the beard is coming through. Can I actually say one more thing?
Yeah.
Today, we're giving away a couple books.
Yes, we are.
These are the first of our small book series. So tiny. Look how small those books are. They're a great 1 or 2 hour read with some amazing how-to action steps. And you can, the information in these is so powerful. Yeah, it's going to take an hour or two to read it, but it's going to serve you for the rest of your life. We call this series Brian&Carrie's... See how I paused there? See how I did that?
Yeah.
You want some water?
I might need some water. Something got stuck in my throat.
Oh, good. That's what I'm here for. Brian&Carrie's little book on. And this one's called Brian&Carrie's little book on, The First Step. How to create the life of your dreams when you don't know where to start. Great title, because it affects so many people.
Yep.
I want to do so much. I don't know where to start. I'm overwhelmed now, so now I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, I'm excited about
This book is going to solve all of that. So we're going to give away about 4 or 5 of these today at the end of this episode. So you guys stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and if you were one of the people who was given one on Saturday, you know who you are. Yes, send us your address, because I saw somebody ask up above, Jessica LeBlanc.
Oh,
Somebody gave one away on Saturday. We actually listed the crew members to give it away.
Absolutely,
So
and that was fun. And Papa Draps says, I love you. And Papa Draps, I don't know who you're talking to, but just in case you're talking to me, I love you too, big boy. I really adore the Drapluck clan.
I love the Drapluck clan.
And also, Victoria Sparks.
Good morning, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. Perestroika. Das vidanya. Russian, because she's Russian.
Doesn't it though, Laura? Oh, it brings out our gorgeousness. Our gorgeousness.
Oh,
the
you guys are so sweet.
You're just like too much. There's only 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the pre-show.
And now we know.
I don't even know what to do with myself.
Right? This is so much fun. If you're just walking into this, how to use cues and triggers to reprogram your unconscious mind. It's all about increasing focus and concentration so you can be more productive. And at the end of today's episode, we're giving away couple of copies of our brand new book, Brian&Carrie's little book on the first step, how to create the life of your dreams when you don't know where to start. That speaks to a lot of people. So if you want a free copy of that, stick around.
Yep.
And now we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
You know what? Can I tell you what's really funny? Okay, so as we're learning this new process, right? I feel like I'm waiting for something. I don't know what I'm waiting for right now, but I feel like all of the stories, because so I'm in control of the buttons. Yeah. And I know within a matter of like 3 days, these buttons are going to be, I'm going to be able to touch them and look at them without even knowing.
Yes.
Without move them without looking at them. But right now I'm like, I feel the pressure of the button. Like the pressure of the button is looming over me.
Brian Zachowicz, hashtag that. Hashtag pressure to the button.
Oh no!
Oh, select studio control. Our computers went berserko.
No, everything just crapped out.
Oh shit! What just happened? The live stream stopped?
People are still commenting there.
Okay. Well, if you guys are still there, let us know, because it looks like our internet has gone unka plunka on our side. But I see Robin Kruger has joined. Loria says we're still live.
So, Loria, what do I do, honey?
Yeah. I'll keep talking for a few minutes. Mama Draps is here. Love the whole Drap clan. Good morning, Nicole Wright. Aaron Johnson is here. Good morning, Kelly Nicole. Love her energy.
Yeah.
She was like a first timer 2 weeks ago. Has been back ever since. Her and her Great Dane. Love that. Brian Sakowitz does the hashtag appropriately. Oh, look, we're back.
Thank you, Loria.
Brian Sakowitz, love the hashtag. Ryan Wolfert, the doctor's here. Carl is still here in Edmonton. So is Kelly. Oh, you guys are awesome. Lee Patterson says we're still fine. All good. All right, Nicole.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why we're okay? Because we have 2 boxes. The computer here crapped out for a second, but the internet, the whole big box is downstairs. It's got our back.
Oh, this is awesome. Good morning, Monica. This is fun for me. I'm just waiting for like the next crap out, but like not in a bad way. I'm just curious to see what happens.
So we know what to do. Thank you guys for sticking with us this week as we figure out how to serve you better.
I'm going to talk about that when we go live, because I only have 30 seconds. John, yes, Delancey, Facebook really needs to work on live for the broadcaster. That'd be us.
Right?
Right now, sometimes I want to say to Facebook, suck it. Facebook.
Good morning, Dennis Faith Walker. Can I tell you guys something? I had something, I just like put my finger in my mouth and there was something on my finger that didn't taste good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're a little bit off timed on this counter, so let's go.
This is our timer, yeah?
Yeah, but let's go with that one right there, right?
That's the right one, yep.
Well, I'm excited. You guys ready? Hey, crew, let's eliminate your limits. How fun is that? Welcome.
Did you dig it?
Yes, welcome to Brian&Carrie in the Morning. We are live in this unusually snowy May 8th in Mount Tremblant, Quebec. But we are live 5 mornings a week, Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. Eastern, we get rolling. 9:50 is when our pre-show starts, and that's when you should join us. Why? Because that's when all the fun happens and the technical difficulties. But now we are back. Today's show is all about how to use cues and triggers to reprogram your unconscious mind. This show is all about increasing focus and concentration so you can increase your productivity. It's an amazingly important topic for millions of people around the world. We all know the story. We get a little overwhelmed. We lose some focus. We lose some concentration. We start evoking avoidance behaviors. We're not productive. So this show is for you and everybody else you know, which means Carrie Campbell may just demand it in a second. We are going to earn this. So how about we get this shared out to the whole wide world right now? Press share, please.
You know what? I am going to demand it. You know why I'm going to demand it? Because this is our first day in our new studio where all of the power is at my fingertips.
Yes.
So I will just cut you off if you don't share it out.
Yes. Monica loves, by the way, my t-shirt. You know what? I used to live in Chicago. And Steve and Tammy Montefinesse, who were here for Crew Day this weekend, gifted this to me.
It fits great. Doesn't it? You look sexy in it.
Wow. Right there in the morning, biting her bottom lip and
everything.
I
didn't even. I kind of did that.
Jeez. Are you guys ready to go? My first question is this. Crew, are you guys ready to go? Because if you are, I've got something to say. You ready?
I'm ready.
Where my crew at? Crew! Yes, so excited for today's broadcast, and I am going to jump right in.
Let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's jump in because I've pushed all the buttons.
There are no more buttons to push.
Well, there's more buttons, but we're going to start off slow.
I think I just spit on my beard.
Everybody saw
and now everybody saw
because
it.
Because the camera definition is on point day.
All right. How do you use cues and triggers to reprogram your unconscious mind, and why is that important, right? Well, it's important because we get to learn how to increase our focus and our concentration, therefore our productivity at any time, whenever we want. It's like a tool in our toolbox we can use. And the story I wanted to tell, just to frame this, okay? So I was thinking about this 2 weeks ago. But then we had a series of shows that were really important for the timing, including this new studio. So I decided to archive this show until today. And here it is. I was watching, if you're a hockey fan, I was watching the NHL playoffs, right? Actually, so were you. So were the kids. We were all kind of watching it together.
I was mostly watching.
Not a big hockey fan, but she was like, she's home teaming it for me, and I appreciate that, right? So here's the thing. I was watching so many of the goalies go through what we would call preparatory work. And if you don't know much about Brian&Carrie, what I used to do for a living is I was a performance coach, and a lot of that work was within high-end elite athletics. Right. So watching these NHL goalies took me back to the 1995, 96, 97 era when I was working with the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey team. And the goalie at the time was a guy named Felix Potvin. If you are a hockey fan, you know the name. He was a fantastic goalie. And I'd actually like to know, do you guys remember Felix the Cat Potvin? Anyways, not really important.
Can I just say, I don't know hockey and I know his name.
Yeah, right?
So that's significant.
Dennis Faith Walker says go Pens.
Really cool. Welcome Christy Cooper.
Yes. I love Christy Cooper and Carol Wood, I might add.
Look at that.
So having said that, all right. Back in 95, 96, performance coach, a lot of the work I did was mental emotional. So as a goalie, if you know anything about hockey, you know this. Goalies are fucking crazy. They're absolutely on the left side of nuts. Okay? You gotta be to stand in front of a puck moving 120 miles an hour willingly.
Right.
Okay? But they are so precise with their concentration. That's the part that kind of makes them nutty. They are so unbelievably not superstitious, but they are really like organized and prepared, and they have these rituals. And I used to think it was crazy when I was a kid, but then I became a performance coach, and I realized it's so important. They have to shift their concentration and reorganize themselves all game long. So, you ready? This is what I worked on with Felix Potvin. Every single time the play stopped, which in hockey is a lot.
That's why I don't watch hockey.
Okay?
Yeah.
So think about that. Every single whistle,
right?
This is what Felix Potvin would do. He would take off his mask and just pull it to the top of his head. He would take his water bottle that was on the back of the net. He would squirt a little water in his mouth and then watch. Okay, watch my eyes. He would take the water bottle towards the back of the net. He'd stream, like he'd shoot water up in the air and then watch it fall. Just like that. Shoot it up in the air and then watch it fall. He'd put the water back on the back of the net. He'd turn himself around to face the play again. This is all during stoppage, right? And then he would do this. He would posture up. He would look into the distance, and you could tell he was looking at nothing. He was looking at air. And this is what you would see if you were watching on TV. Okay? Fucking crazy, right? But here's why. This is what he and I worked on, okay? Cue and triggers. The cue is what puts him in position as an organism to hit his triggers.
Right.
So if you're watching, what was his cue? What was his cue? What do you think his cue was? I just gave you his entire rundown. What part of that was his cue? And I want to know.
You guys guess first, and then I'm going to guess.
Kelly Nicole remembers that.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
I love
impressive,
that.
eh?
Yeah.
Even more impressive, Kelly, now that you know that I was instrumental in creating it with them. How badass is that? Which part of that was his cue? The whistle blow. Great. Like that. Lori Petrucci's not only world famous.
She's also so smart.
She's also so smart. But no, it actually wasn't the whistle blow. It was not. No. It wasn't the posture either. So we have Karen Roberts saying posture, Lori and Brian Sakowitz saying the whistle. None of that was his cue.
Can I guess?
Yes.
When he squeezed his water up in the air.
That was his cue. So he'd grab the water, he'd take a small sip, and then watch my eyes again, squirt. He would watch the water go up, and he'd watch it fall. That was his cue. Okay? That was his moment to come in to what we call character.
Right.
Put the water bottle down, turn around, look off into space, and repeat these affirmations, 4 of them, as a matter of fact, that he and I created. That would drive his concentration back to moment. Mm-hmm. It would drive his focus back to moment. Mm-hmm. Not hard to get distracted when there's 30,000 people around you cheering.
Of course.
And the puck's over there for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to lose focus.
Right.
That was his cue. Water up, down, he'd turn around, then he'd say his triggers. Mm-hmm. Okay? So how's that all? Was that too long?
That wasn't too long. I don't think Brian...
I wanted to show you what the cue trigger aspect looked like.
Right.
Okay?
You know what I think that was?
Yeah.
I think that was a mic drop.
Look at her.
That was a mic drop,
What?
people!
We are so high tech here at Brian and Carrie in the morning.
Boom, boom!
So now my last part is this. I'm going to define these words for you. A cue snaps you into character. Mm-hmm. It snaps you into the moment.
Sure.
A trigger is a repetitive statement.
Yeah.
That once you are in the moment, the statement has more impact.
Yeah.
In the absence of the cue, the trigger has less of an effect. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You got to cue yourself into the moment.
Yep.
Cue yourself into present. Cue yourself into the posture. Mm-hmm. Then you repeat the triggers. Yep. And that's how the increase of focus happens immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And you've got great examples.
I have
as
so
well.
many stories about this. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit and share with you some of our own, right? And I'm actually gonna get
absolutely.
up and I'm gonna demonstrate because now I can move around here.
That's badass.
But so you know, Brian and I were talking about this as we were prepping for the show, and I was thinking back to my days as a clinical counselor working with kids with special needs, and the degree to which, so I actually didn't realize how many cues and triggers I had until I had to put my mind to it and say, like, we had them everywhere, right? So I'm going to give you 2 examples. So, you know, when I worked privately with kids, you know, the entrance into the house was always something that I tried to make fun and exciting. And so I'd come into the house and I'd be like, you know, good morning and how are you? And we'd do a song and dance and we'd be playful. But, you know, inevitably it was time to quote unquote get to work, which in my world, work isn't really that taxing with a child, but we had to get to work. We had to focus on what we were doing. So it does it with one particular child, Lindsay, I don't mind saying his name. You know, we would be playful. We would talk. I'd talk with his mom, and then we'd go upstairs to his bedroom, where is the place that we did our first half of our session, which was work related. And the cue was sitting down at the table and picking up the box that had our work materials in it for the day. So when we sat down and we put the box on the table, that was the time to get into, you know, more serious mode and focused mode. And then I would always say to him, because he was very dramatic and oriented, I would always go, "Are you ready?" And then he would go, "Yes, I'm ready," like that. And then we'd kick off working, right? Every single time.
I don't know. That was hot for me. I don't know. There was something really sexy about that.
We had a lot of fun. Anyway,
Am I alone in thinking that?
So that was with individual, like with one-on-one, working with one-on-one kids. Yeah. But then when we worked into bigger groups, now anybody who works with a large group of kids is going to recognize this immediately. Yep. And can I just add, by the way, if you don't have cues and triggers for your own kids, you should probably have them.
100%.
Chase required them as a kid growing up.
So
So, you know, you're in a big group, you have a lot of kids running around, there's toys everywhere because it's playtime, but now it's time to get down and dirty and do some work. Yep. Right? The cue in the environments I used to work on was the lights went off. Yep. So when the lights went off, the kids stopped And when they came back on, the trigger was everybody started singing, clean up, everybody everywhere, clean up. Now it's time to do your share. And then everybody would go and clean up, right? So cues and triggers are present everywhere.
Yeah.
And if they're not present, we make them present purposefully
100%.
in order to enact the focus that we want to have.
100%. So I want to say, Wayne Gott, I don't even recognize your name. Is this your first time watching? But you say that cues and triggers work well with climbing. I love that. Love to hear an example from you. I'm going to pause to remind everybody right now that we are earning the living shit out of this right now.
Yeah, we are.
Right? And we're going to give away a few books at the end of this episode. Brian and Carrie's little book on the first step. How to create the life of your dreams when you don't even know where to start. So we want you to stick around for that. But considering we are earning the crap out of this, and we're going to now talk more distinctly about our cues and triggers and how you build your own, how about you do us a favor and get this shared out right now? Whether you have or haven't yet, let's all share this out. Tell the world.
You know, can I add some stuff to the whole philosophy behind this? Because I think that, and I'm going to go back to kids for 1 second, because I think kids, they can teach us so much insofar as how we can grow and evolve as adults, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to actually use Chase as an example. So Chase he had a very difficult time changing focus.
Yep.
So going from one activity to another,
Yes.
getting ready in the morning, he'd be playing with his toys, but then he'd have to leave to go to school. And as parents, we make the mistake of thinking that the kids know what we know. So we're like, okay, get ready, we're going now. But the kid is just like sitting there going, what's wrong? I'm playing with my Mr. Potato Head, right? So for Chase, I had cues for him. Like, it was a verbal cue, that, you have 5 minutes left. I'd put a stopwatch in his room to show him 5 minutes. And then I would follow that up with, we're going now. And he would come, to leave.
Absolutely.
So if we as adults have a hard time going in and out, what we need to do is institute that for ourselves, right?
A couple of things on the monitor. First of all, Steve Montefinesse just shared our show, which means wherever Steve and Tammy are, they're watching Brian and Carrie in the morning. And I love that, Steve. Look at the shirt I'm wearing right now. That's for you, big boy. Lisa's is welcoming Wayne. Hey, crew, welcome Wayne to the show.
And Shauna Walsh.
Yes.
Welcome. We haven't seen your name before.
And thank you for sharing, Shauna. This is fantastic. Let me add another one from Chase and Maya.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll remember this. I just thought of it right now.
Is that what you were chuckling at?
Yeah. Right? So with Maya and I have always had an amazing relationship, right?
Oh, I know which one you're going to do.
This one?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So there was a time Maya is going to own the world one day, and she's known that since birth. So she kind of wants to do it her way. Mm-hmm. She's not this girl does not have bitch in her.
Right.
She's not nasty. She is not angry. She's just very self-determined, very self-reliant. And I did not want to take that away from her.
Right.
I did not want to strip her of that beauty and that amazing trait that she gets, by the way, from her mom. And parents do that. We strip these traits away from our kids.
Right.
And then when they're teenagers, we yell at them for not being self-reliant.
Right.
I don't fucking understand that, right? But what I used to do is when I'd say, hey, Maya, let's do this. And then she'd be like, no, I'm going to go over there and do that instead. It'll be better this way. All I'd have to do is this. Maya. That's it. That was the cue. Then she'd say the trigger. Oh, Bubby, you're in charge. I'm not in charge. We're all on a team. We got to play together.
Can I tell you?
Every time she'd say the exact trigger.
Right.
Oh, Bubby, you're in charge. I'm not in charge. We're all on a team. We have to play together.
Every time.
My cue is simply Maya. That was it.
Right.
And she'd say the trigger.
And I just have to add, first of all, welcome Melanie Tara Doling. I believe this is your first time in the
right
show.
on.
Welcome. I just want to add to that story because Maya was like this tall and Bubby's like a lot taller. So Maya would, she had to crawl, she would crawl up onto a chair.
Yes.
And stand right in front of Bubby.
She would.
And she'd be like, in Todd? Not in Todd, because she couldn't really speak properly at that point.
It was like unbelievably
But
cute.
it was so powerful, and to this day we refer to it.
She's almost 12. I can still do that.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cues and triggers are powerful things. So I'm going to tell you about a few of mine.
Yeah,
A few of the things that I use, okay? What happened?
I'm tight from yesterday's workout. I can't scratch my back.
I got this, Crew Nation. I have got this, Crew Nation.
I'm good. You can continue.
Well, right now I'm enjoying touching your back. So. How's everybody doing right now? Yes. All right, come my own. So Carrie and I are both athletes, right? And right now I'm a power lifter. And if you've ever been a power lifter, you know something very, very important. Well, probably a few things. Number one, you're going to be prepared to lift a lot of heavy shit. Mm-hmm. And with heavy shit comes potential to get hurt.
Yeah.
If your focus and concentration is not where it needs to be, damage can happen. Now, I'm a power lifter who doesn't enjoy back squatting, but I love to front squat. And if you've ever, been active in a weight room, my personal best on a front squat is about 355. That's a big front squat. And when you are holding 355 pounds with 6 fingers, that's it, okay? And it's resting on your collarbone, there are a number of things that have to happen at the same time for that lift to be both successful and safe. Mm-hmm. You have to tighten your torso. For me, I like to push away from the ground. I like to grip the ground with my feet. Okay, my glutes have to be engaged. The bar has to be nestled comfortably. There's a lot of things. My chin has to be up. There's a lot of things that have to go on. Mm-hmm. So my cue for when I front squat is this. I step up to the bar. I hold the bar. Like I literally grab it with my palms together. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I go 1, 2, and I get in position. Mm-hmm. That's my cue.
Right.
The bar underneath my hand. Grip, 1, 2, and then I get in position. That's my cue. The triggers start from there, and my triggers are very easy. I repeat the word Kaizen in my head 2 times, which if you don't know, it's a Japanese term, and it means long, slow progression. Every day, get a little better. Mm-hmm. That fires me into remembering that this rep right now is important. My workouts next week are not important. Me testing my max in 2 weeks is not important, but this rep is important. Mm. Okay, so I say Kaizen twice, and then I say, in my head, this is all in my head, I say every day, every rep.
Nice.
Every day, every rep matters. Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, my cue. I step up to the bar, I hold the bar, 1, 2, I slide my hands, I come back in position. Kaizen, I close my eyes, Kaizen, every day, every rep, then I come underneath the bar. Mm. Boom.
Beautiful.
That is my cue and trigger pattern for squatting successfully. They are very effective. Yeah. It brings you to the moment. Yeah. If you're worried about, is your camera equipment going to work on tomorrow's episode, or, gee, I hope I get my max in 10 days when I'm testing, it all fades away. Mm-hmm. It all brings me to that moment. Mm-hmm. That's one example for me.
Yeah, absolutely. John, we're going to get to your question in 1 second, okay? So I just want to say it's a great question. So let me give you mine for lifting, actually. The only thing I was going to say the only thing I use my cue and trigger for in the gym is squatting, but that's not true. I use it for squatting and deadlifting. I don't use it for bench press, interestingly enough. Yep. And so my point behind that is, where do I use them? I use them on the exercises for me that are mentally taxing. So, I'm not a big girl, right? I only weigh 135 pounds, right? So squatting, 300 pounds is a lot of weight to put on your back. Yep. And it is the only lift that I do that I would say when I started doing it, I was afraid of.
Sure.
Because I had this fear that my body would just crumple. And so I had to, I really had to mentally prepare myself as I'm walking up to that squat rack. Yep. And I had a coach, the coach who introduced me to powerlifting, who put this mantra in my head. Yeah. And I want to say it's the most ridiculous, you're going to hear it. It almost sounds funny.
I think it's awesome.
But personally, the interesting thing is that this morning when I was writing this out, believe it or not, I actually had to pretend I was squatting because I don't know the mantra unless I'm stepping up to a squat bar. Yep. And then it's unconscious. Yep. Right? And I'm going to show you. That's
a great point.
I'm going to get up and show you, okay?
Oh, right on.
Because we got this.
We got lots of room now.
It works, right? So when my cue, as I'm getting up to a squat bar, right? So I walk up to the squat bar. I position myself in front of it. So Brian and I were talking and we were doing whatever. But as I walk up to the squat bar, I put one hand on. I ring it like it's a motorcycle.
Do you do up your fly every time first also?
Yeah, because the fly falls down. Everybody who was here Saturday knows that. Okay, so ready? So Brian and I were talking, blah, blah, blah. I walk up to the squat bar. At that point, tune out everything. One hand goes on, the other hand goes on. And as I'm sitting here, this is my cue to my trigger, which is Shield and sword, ready to kill. My mind and body, titanium steel. And then I walk under the thing, under the bar. But it's so unconscious.
Yep.
I don't even realize I'm doing it anymore, but I don't miss it ever. Not even one time.
Absolutely. Now, I want to add something, okay? Because John Delancey asked a great question. Are cues and triggers as effective for long periods of focus as short activities like a lifting set? No. And that pushes us into the next point. Mm-hmm. Great question. Well timed, okay? I've given an example of a hockey goalie, right? I've given an example of me lifting. You've given an example of you lifting and certain with kids. Let's take this into a more business aspect for a second, okay? First of all, let me say this. A hockey game is 60 minutes long, 3 20-minute periods.
Right.
That goalie does it every single time the whistle blows. Think about that. So no, it's not meant to carry you into a duration of 3 hours. The human mind, guys, I hate the hyperbole. I hate the hype. I hate the motivation. If you ever hear any kind of success expert talking about use my super secret strategy and stay focused for 3 hours, kick it out the window. The human mind does not work that way. Right. We focus in increments. Okay? And if you know that and you wrap around that a good cue and trigger, you can create patterns of intense focus for short periods of time that put your productivity through the roof. Here's an example. I'm a writer, okay? And I write a lot. I write books, I write blogs, I write Facebook posts, I work on my novel, I write nonstop, okay? I cannot write for 3 hours of maximal focus. Well, because I'm human. Nobody can.
Right.
It's a literal impossibility based on the way the brain works.
Right.
So what do? Okay? I set my timer for 20 minutes. That's what I do. I do not write for longer than 20-minute spans. Now look, maybe you write for an hour or 45 minutes, but I promise you this. If you're a writer or you're working on desk work, if the clock ticks past 60 minutes, you have just destroyed your focus, concentration, and therefore productivity. You cannot maintain that for an hour. The body is meant to move. The mind is meant to jump.
Right.
So if we know that, we can set the parameters. Doesn't matter what I'm writing. A small book, a novel, a Facebook post, or a blog. My timer gets set for 20 minutes. Here is my cue when I write, okay? My first thing is to take a breath. And as I breathe out, I say to myself, New York Times. Okay, that's the first thing I say. New York Times bestseller. My whole life, I've wanted to become a New York Times bestseller. And I intend to, without question. But that changes my posture. It changes my thought process. It changes everything about my cosmetics of how I'm about to write. Right. Now that's my cue. My triggers, are you ready? I repeat these 2 things 2 times each. First, I put my hands on the keyboard and I say WWSS, give 'em Robertson. Give 'em Robertson. And then I start writing. When the timer goes off, I'm done. I collect myself, I walk around, I get some water, I go back to the task of writing and restart that process all over again. The process takes 20 seconds, but it delivers me an amazingly powerful 20 minutes of writing. And then when the timer goes off, I reset, I do it again, 20 more minutes. Now, what does WWSS mean? What would Seth say? I think Seth Godin is about the most brilliant business writer of all time.
Absolutely.
He can say more in 300 words than most good writers can say in 30,000.
Yeah.
And I love the way he writes. I hear his voice in his words. And I long to be that kind of impactful writer. Quite frankly, I think I am. But he inspires me to do it better. Give 'em Robertson. What does that mean? My favorite novelist of all time is Robertson Davies. Right. Okay? Robertson Davies would take this chapstick. He'd put it down, he'd look at it, and he'd write a page about that chapstick that made you feel like you could taste it. He had so much artism and visual capacity in the way he wrote. He's long passed away now, but he is a beautiful artist of words. So I remind myself that in that moment, I want to say it like Seth and put art around it like Robertson. And that is what compels me to write for 20 minutes. Alarm goes off, I'm done. I go to the bathroom, I go outside, I hug Carrie, I do whatever. I grab some water, and then 2 minutes later I come back, start the whole process over again. So great question, John, but that's how you make these focus cues and triggers extend your focus. Absolutely. You repeat them constantly.
Yeah, let me just add to that, because Cecily Casey asked, about the timeline. So 20 minutes of intense focus is good. I think it's really important with regards to that to not I think that we have to find our own time limit, right? I think we all, to say that, 20 minutes of intense focus, if that's good for you, Cecily, it's good for you, right?
Yes.
We have to look at, because I tend to be able to go longer spans of time before I lose focus, depending on the task, right? So it's not a one size fits all.
Sure.
It's about learning to kind of be aware of yourself and testing it out. I think that the best way to say it is you've tested it out, 20 increments, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes to find the one that's the best for you, right?
Yes, I will add to that though. Anything past 60, you're flirting with danger. You really are now flirting with a brain that's going to start shutting itself down. It's not because anyone lacks willpower. It's because that's what the brain does. Right. It needs to move. Mm-hmm. So move it. Let it go somewhere else, then bring it back to the moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's an example of how you use it for long periods. Yeah. I've written an entire book using that method, by the way.
Right. I was just going to say, I had an interesting experience with that just last weekend. I think we kind of joked about it on Monday morning on the show. We were preparing our year end, and I was up to my ears in papers and receipts, and I just up to my ears. You should have seen our room. It was covered with everything. And I didn't time it, but I could tell when I was starting to lose focus. And I would get up, I would go do whatever, hug you, go pee, get something to drink, whatever. And when I came back, the trigger that I would use was, "You got this."
Yep.
I would just say, "You got this," and I would.
You were saying it out loud.
Yeah, I was like, "I got this."
I kept being like, "What? Sorry." Oh, you're not talking to me.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, do you have another example for you aside from that one? You got.
I don't have another one for me. No,
perfect. No, we've covered the bases. Yeah. So now here's what we're gonna do. How do you create your own trigger and cue? Okay. But before we do that, don't forget, at the end of today's episode, Brian and Carrie's little book on the first step, how to create the life of your dreams when you don't know where to start. We're giving away a few copies of that. You got to stick around in order to see if you're going to be one of the winners. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to give a couple conditions on this.
Yes, we are.
The people who share this episode right now are the only ones who are qualifying.
Yep.
So you got to get off your ass. You got to share this episode. And by the way, who doesn't need to know this information?
Of course.
How to increase your concentration and focus so you can be more productive. Mm-hmm. That would be everybody, right? Who needs that kind of information.
Absolutely.
So let's share this out right now. I appreciate that. I'm going to read Kelly's, just like in meditation, they say that distraction is healthy and most people do not want to tell you. Exactly. You're absolutely right, Kelly. Even in meditation, which is something I've studied and taught for decades now, 10 to 20 minutes is very sufficient. Yeah. The mind does want to move, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Go with where your body's taking you.
Right.
Stop resisting stuff. I agree.
Look at that. Share this out, bitches, says Michael.
Brian Sackowitz. Who's Michael?
I have no idea. My brain read Brian, but I decided to say Michael. I have no idea.
Because this black cherry sparkling water has bubbles in it, I just suppressed a big burp. You might have seen my mouth go like that. Perhaps. You guys are awesome. Look at Robin Kruger's here.
Good morning, Robin Kruger.
Yes, Lisa's here. Look at everybody.
Who's Michael? I don't know. I don't know who Michael is, okay?
Connie, Mother Nature's here. Mother Nature, you got to do something with the fact that we are having snow in May up here. So if you could do what you need to do, cast a spell, whatever it is you do.
Walk around in a circle.
Yes, you guys are awesome. All right, so how do you create your own cues and triggers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I have some things I want to outline regarding that, okay? First of all, an understanding of why cues and triggers are important and how they work. Mm-hmm. Okay? My first point on that is you have to prepare the organism to receive. Mm-hmm. Okay? Think about that for a second. You have to prepare the organism to receive. Now, as a performance coach in the past, right? And why I'm so steadfast now of even working with my business clients on teaching them to work in 20 to 40 minute increments in the day, rather than these long marathon days. Everybody loves the hustle and grind mantra. It sucks. It doesn't work. You know what hustle and grinding makes me do? It makes me want to take a nap. Right. That's all it fucking makes you want to do. Like, I don't know how you're productive on that, right? So the organism has to be prepared for the trigger. And that's what a cue does. Mm-hmm. Right? When I think back again about my performance days or coaching days, whenever I would train an athlete, I didn't have a training program I was doing that day. I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish, But what I did that day was based largely on the athlete.
Right.
If they were tired or stressed or not well nourished or dehydrated, well, what I want to accomplish doesn't matter because that organism is not prepared to receive it well enough. Mm-hmm. So cueing helps you, the organism, receive the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an important thing, okay? And there's something else. I love saying it this way. I actually learned this from Arnold Schwarzenegger, of all sources, right? He calls it tell a real lie. Okay? Did anybody notice how I say my entire life I've wanted to write a New York Times bestseller, and I intend to do just that? Anyone else hear that? That's a real lie.
Right.
Okay? I have not written a New York Times bestseller. And yet I'm sitting here telling you like I intend to. There's no question in my mind. But legitimately, this is not a facade. I'm not pretending to have confidence about that. I intend to absolutely unconditionally write a New York Times best-selling book. Why am I so unbelievably steadfast and so unbelievably certain of that? Because I've been telling it to myself for 20 years.
Right.
That's why. Right? I've not positioned my career yet to write that book, and I don't really care. It's not now, it's when I'm 60. It doesn't bother me. But my unconscious knows that that's a fact of my life. I intend to be a New York Times best-selling author because I have told that lie, that real lie to myself since I was 20 years old.
Right.
That's the point. That's what cues and triggers are. They're real lies that you say to yourself that become so ingrained in the unconscious, your unconscious accepts them as real. It's an amazingly powerful thing to understand.
Yep.
So, Carrie and I talk about this all the time. If we could just transplant our thoughts into you for like half a minute, you'd see what we would see, or you'd see what we do see, which is this. Every time you complain, every time you get frustrated, every time you are uncertain, every time you're worried about the outcome, you are sending that signal to your unconscious that stuff is real.
Right.
And every time you say things like New York Times best-selling author, best goalie in the world, pucks can't get by me, you're sending that signal to your unconscious. Your unconscious doesn't know the difference of right, wrong, real, or imagined. It doesn't know. It just produces the focus and concentration that you're telling it to produce. So if you're going to stand in yourself and complain and worry and be afraid on a regular basis, your unconscious says, okay, and your life becomes that.
Right.
When you say New York Times best-selling author, when you say I'm the best goalie in the world, when you say $1 million business by 2019, you say it with enough conviction, enough times, your unconscious says, yeah, okay. And it starts to build a life on your actions and habits based on that.
Right.
So that's the important thing. You're basically wanting to tell yourself a real lie. The cue prepares you, the organism, to receive that real lie. And that's how it gets embedded in your unconscious.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be real. It has to be believable.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
It makes sense.
And then, my last point,
okay.
these triggers become anchors.
Yes.
They're the things you say every single day so that your mind isn't worried about that or thinking about that or afraid of that. You just come back to the triggers all the time. So that's all your mind knows now.
Right.
So powerful, but so simple.
Yeah. So
okay, I'm done. You go ahead now.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to, so if this is your first time hearing triggers and cues and you hear all of this and you're like, this is awesome. Like I need this in my life. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit of a step-by-step on how to go and create them, because I think sometimes people love concepts, hear concepts, and you have clarity, you want to go create it, but then you kind of get home and you're like, okay, I don't remember what Brian&Carrie told me to do, right? So I'm gonna kind of give you a step-by-step coming off of everything that Brian just said, because what he said is like the philosophy and the core of it all, yes. Right? So don't try and create triggers for every single aspect of your life right away, right? I want you to pick one. So step one is pick one. Pick one area of your life that you're losing focus in that you want to develop a cue and a trigger for.
100%.
So what you're going to do is you're going to get better at developing these because you're going to be able to practice with one area. So step one, pick one. Step two, pick one cue, aka action, and pick one mantra, aka words, for the trigger, right? So associate one cue with it and one trigger with it. So let's just say, for example, you want to stay focused on writing. Okay, I'm going to use Brian's. You want to stay focused on writing. So pick one cue. Maybe your action for the cue is like to tap your keypad twice.
Absolutely.
Boom, boom.
Yes.
And then pick one trigger. Like, I've got this. Okay, whatever it is for you. So step 1 is pick one. Step 2, pick one cue and one trigger for whatever you've chosen. And step 3 is to practice, and test and refine.
That's it.
Because I think what's really important to understand is that we're all different, right? So for some people, kinesthetic touch cues are important.
Yes.
For other people, auditory. For other people, visual,
100%.
right? So don't try and go big and gangbusters. Start small, and then you'll be able to integrate more and more practically into your life.
Can I add one thing to that?
Of course you can.
Practice.
Of course,
It takes time.
Yep.
The unconscious is not built in a day. It's not refined in a day. It doesn't take a year and a half, but it takes a little bit of time. If you do this for 30 days, your shit's going to change.
Yeah.
100% it's going to change.
Yeah.
And that is like the simplest way we could possibly explain it to you. Create your cue, create your triggers, and understand there's no right or wrong. There's what you want.
Yep.
There's what feels right to you. And then practice them every day, minimally 3 times a day.
Right.
In the weight room, I actually counted last week because I was interested for today's show. I actually say my trigger in the weight room no fewer than 100 times every training session. And if you think about that, it sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
It's not exhausting because you get into the habit. It's practice.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
But understand, okay, here's a great, Monica, brilliant comment. You ready? Yes. I'm planning to change a slightly overweight's coworker's cue on a post-it note to from you are fat to something more that his mind needs to hear. What's my point? Are you ready? If you are not telling your mind and brain what to think, they'll think whatever they want.
Right.
How often are we going to be honest with each other? How often do you say, I'm fucking fat? Fuck, I'm fat. I have no money. I'm so broke. It sounds like lip service.
Of course, yeah.
It does. But every time we have a client who says this, guys, I'm just so worried about money. Like, I don't have any money. We're always like, yeah. And you're not going to have any until you shut the fuck up.
Yes.
With exactly that.
Yeah.
Because all you're telling the unconscious is that you're fat. So all of your actions and habits line up to prove that accurate.
Yeah.
I have no money. I'm so broke. I'm so worried about money. Your unconscious is attaching money, scarcity, sadness, and fear all together. So guess what? You're not really efficient. You're not very productive. You don't do the things to make money. You don't charge what you're worth. You continue not having money. This is breaking old patterns and building new ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
All it does, it takes practice.
You know, I want to go back to the comment you made about it being, some people will be like, oh my gosh, it's exhausting, right?
Yeah.
But Brian said this, they were just not connected to the same point. It's exhausting, you might think, but can we tell you something? Your brain is thinking anyways.
Right.
So if you're not purposefully thinking, if I'm not walking up to a bar thinking shield and sword, etc., I'm walking up to that bar thinking, I hope I don't get hurt. Right? So
yes.
It's either you're going to choose what you're thinking or you're going to let your mind choose for you.
Because
right?
it's happening either way.
Exactly.
Right? Great comment by Mona. I find as soon as one negative thought comes in my head, I start enumerating every other fault I have. She finishes it by saying, then I switch it for every bad thing I say about myself, say a good thing, which I love.
Yeah.
But I was going to key into that first part. Anybody else recognize that? It's called the snowball.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
Of course.
All of a sudden, you're fat, but you're also broke. You're also lonely.
No one's ever going to love you.
No one's ever going to love you. It's like a landslide. It's like that snowball that just picks up speed and doesn't stop. Once we go negative, our whole life gets enveloped by it.
Yeah. But you know what? The
Non-stop.
same is true. Once you go positive,
exactly,
your whole life gets enveloped by it.
100% accurate. So those are cues and triggers, my friends.
Yeah.
Now,
how did you dig it?
Who wants a book? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Who wants a book? I want to know. First and foremost, the condition, the qualifications, you got to share this right now. Brian Sakowitz is here. You don't want to piss him off. Brian Sakowitz, could you give us an enumeration of how many shares we've had so far, please?
Do you occasionally change up your cues, triggers, so they don't just become... That's a great question, John.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say I think it really depends. There's certain cue, like the one that I have for my fitness, for the squatting, I've had for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I tune into, like, if something just doesn't feel good anymore, I will change it up.
Yeah.
But for the more often than not, they kind of stick around forever for me. For a really long time.
And I think that's a great question. It's an insightful question. Carrie tends to stay the same with her cues.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to stay the same with mine. And here's why. Repetition for the unconscious is like gold. Mm-hmm. The more you repeat the same thing, the more the unconscious accepts it as real and starts to weave your habits and behaviors around it as completely aligned. Yeah. This is about creating internal alignment. So although I suggest everybody try it for themselves and see what works, our strongest suggestion from the expectant, faith-based repetition reality of the unconscious is find some cues and triggers and use them. Mm-hmm. Use them exactly as is. Exactly. I have been writing in my own personal Brian&Carrie journal for the better part of a year now, the exact same business stuff, extending into 2020. It hasn't changed. And guess what? Every fucking ounce of it has come true. Yes. Up to date. Yes, right? Exactly. Repetition's massive. Exactly. Brian Sakowicz is the share police.
Connie's like, books, please.
Yes. Oh, look at you guys. Well. Wayne Gott puts his hand up. I love you guys so much.
Sometimes when I look down there at the monitor to read what you lovely people are saying to us, I feel like I'm neglecting you up here. So if ever you feel neglected, just know it's because I'm sharing space between your words and your face.
Absolutely. Billy Reuter's the best.
We made it to 50 shares.
Billy, you guys are you know what? I love my crew. Can we do that right now?
Absolutely. If it's there, we can do it.
Are you guys ready? I want this so bad right now. Crew! Oh, you guys are awesome.
We're going to work on our cues.
All right, here's what we're going to do, okay, guys? Because we have to see who shared it. I trust everybody. If you said you shared it, then I believe you did. By the way, Mona, which book is it? The one you already have. You were here on Crew Day, so you got your free copy already. I'm checking something really fast.
They're all signed, yeah.
These are all. This is Chris and Kelly's, but these are all signed. Everybody who was here
at Crew Day
on Saturday signed this book.
So you're not just getting. Can I just say you're not just getting an awesome book. You are getting a book signed by all the crewmates who were here at the very first Brian&Carrie Crew Day experience.
This is like a memento.
It's going to go down in history.
It is, right? So here's what we need to do. We need to place this particular next thing, if you want a book, which I saw so many hands. Wayne and Papa Draps and Carol and Kelly and Billy and everybody, right? Here's what you have to do. We'd like you to do this right now.
Do it right now.
Okay? You ready?
I am.
Okay. Why do you want the book? Mm-hmm. No, but really, is it the title? Is it the idea of the first step, how to create the life of your dreams when you don't know where to start? Or is it Brian&Carrie in the morning, just you dig it. You like the vibe. So you figure that the book's going to have similar vibe. Mm-hmm. I want to know, but here's the real challenge. Because we've asked you guys to do this before. You guys were wonderful. Now I'm going to up the ante. You had to have shared this episode. I'm sure you all did. Okay? Jess, you are awesome.
Welcome to the show, Jess.
Jess, you are awesome.
Jess Kresovich.
Yes, you are awesome. Now, here's what you have to do. If you shared the show, you've already qualified. Now, here's the next thing. Brian&Carrie in the morning, specifically this book, what is it? What is it that draws you to the show? What is it that causes Jess, people like Jess, that you guys are awesome? What is it meant to you to be part of the Crew Nation? Mm-hmm. Right? Do it in video.
Oh, I know who's on that one. Brian Sakowicz has got you guys bagged.
You have to absolutely record a video that does not go longer than 2 or 3 minutes. You have to post it on our fan page. And you have to tag us personally in it. Brian Grasso, Carrie Campbell, not our fan page. That's a lot.
I'm excited about this.
Look, we have given away free books. We have given away journals and daily readers. We have given away coaching. We have given away probably about $10,000 worth of free shit in the last 2 months.
Right, yeah.
And guess what? We're going to keep doing it.
Of course.
But now, for this one, we want you to earn it.
Yeah.
Get it? Like, it's not, you're not just going to be able to type, well, blah, 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 blah. You have to put on a cell phone. You got to hold it. You got to do a selfie video that says, you know what, Brian&Carrie in the morning, duh. You got to post it on our fan page. You got to tag us personally in it, Brian Grasso, Carrie Campbell. And then we're going to pick tomorrow the 4 people who get it. 4.
I am so excited.
And I think that's not unreasonable.
I think that's great.
You know what? Who's involved in our coaching program right now? Brian Sackwich is. Cecily Casey. Carol Wood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on this right now.
Oh, Kelly, I want your dog in it. Yes.
Right? So here's my point, though, okay? You ready? We did a free 4-week coaching program. 4 calls, 1 a week. Last night was supposed to be our last call, but now we're doing one more next Sunday. The one more next Sunday is now our 11th call.
Yep.
We offered free 4 weeks. We ended up giving 11 different calls for no charge. My point is not saying we're heroic. My point is saying the Brian and Carrie cruise, it's a lifestyle to us.
Yeah.
So we go out of our way to give, and then you know what? I want you to have this book. Show us you want it.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. That's all.
I will say something because Mona just made a point. If you're not on our friend lists, you can't tag us personally, but that's okay. Just post it on the page, on the Brian and Carrie page. We'll see it.
Yeah, post it on the Brian and Carrie page. We'll go from there. Yeah. If you can't tag us, I'd like you to. I'd still like that, but we're not going to eliminate you.
Exactly. And Kelly Nicole, okay? I'll hook you up with some details on that one. Kelly Nicole.
Absolutely. So that was that. How was that? Was that fun today? You want to do it one more time?
Yeah. Are you guys ready for one more time?
Where my crew at?
Crew!
Yes, you guys are awesome. I love you all to death.
Is there a post by time? Before the show. I mean, by tonight.
By tonight.
Yeah,
How's
because
that?
we'll be reviewing them tonight before
by
morning.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go.
We'll review them by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We'll announce the 4 winners tomorrow morning on this very show, which means if you are going to post a video, you better be on the show tomorrow.
That's right.
Because that's how you know if you won the book.
That's right.
Absolutely. I love this. I love my crew.
I love our crew as well.
Here's my last thing. You guys all ready? Every morning, Carrie and I journal for an hour and a half together. It's like our favorite part of the day. And every morning, we do one thing, which means we enumerate our one win from yesterday to each other.
Right.
So I say, hey, Carrie, this is my one thing for yesterday. And here was I saw your one thing from yesterday. And then vice versa. I'm going to give you my one thing from today right now.
Okay.
This show. I was in the shower just before we went live, and I realized that although I loved Mona and the Montefinesses and certainly Loria and Lisa Arsenault and everybody who was with us, Penny and Joey and little Taylor, little crew kids, I adored everybody who was here. And I would, when you think about that's a highlight.
Yeah. People
come from Chicago. They drive to be at your house to sit in a live studio audience while you film an episode of your show. What a highlight. But here I was Monday morning, right? Oh, Monday morning blues, and oh, fuck. The highlight was on Saturday. I'm dragging ass. I'm so tired today. And I couldn't help but notice how much I couldn't wait for this show. I fucking love my crew.
Yeah.
I love Brian and Carrie in the morning.
Me too.
And more than you realize, you guys make it so special and worthwhile for us.
Completely.
So thank you for that. That's my one thing that I'll be telling her again tomorrow morning. You guys will be on mine.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Absolutely. With that, thank you for watching Brian and Carrie in the morning. We will see you guys tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Bye.